Most women trying to reinvent themselves at 50 start by changing their job, their appearance, their routine, and then wonder why they don't feel any different. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Laura Whitelaw, and today we're talking about why reinvention after 50 starts on the inside rather than the outside. So we're conditioned to look for change on the outside of us. We're conditioned to want to change the external reality first. We've picked this up from the media, from friends, from family. So, for example, if we've got a headache, we're told to take an Advil. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't take an Advil, just that we're reaching for something that's outside of us to solve a problem. And it's not necessarily effective, especially for the long term. And you might continue to change your circumstances, but if you're dragging the same identity with you, those changes aren't going to stick. So, for example, weight loss. If you want to take off some weight, but you keep seeing yourself as a fat person, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle a lot more than you would if you embodied the identity of a thin person. Because as that thin person, you start making different decisions. You decide that you'd rather have berries and yogurt for dessert as opposed to a piece of chocolate cake. You begin to behave as that other version of you. And this goes beyond mindset. It's identity level change. When you identify that version of you that has what you want, you begin to behave like her. So a famous law of assumption teacher, Neville Goddard, he always taught that you don't get what you want, you get what you are. And making a change at the identity level is far more permanent than forcing yourself to adopt new behaviors without seeing yourself as that new version. So take a lottery winner, for example. Their external world changes dramatically in an instant. However, if they don't change their internal world and still see themselves as a broke person, they wind up broke again within a short matter of time. And we've seen this over and over again. We've heard so many stories of people who have won millions and 2, 3 years later, they've lost it all. So making an identity change after 50 is the perfect time. You've got loads of life experience already, and you're in a transitionary period, most likely, where your kids are grown up. Maybe they've moved out of the house. You're thinking about retirement. You maybe have hit a career plateau. Your parents are aging, and maybe in some cases they have passed on. So this presents a terrific opportunity for an identity level shift. But just to warn you, identity shifting can come with a certain amount of grief because there's things you need to let go of in order to embody that new version of yourself. It's going to feel weird, but it will ultimately leave you feeling far more peaceful and at ease with your life. So because this goes beyond positive thinking, there are various tools that I use that can help you with embodying this new identity. Because sometimes, or oftentimes, there's a lot of stress that is generated from starting to act as this new identity. It doesn't quite feel right initially. And maybe it even sets off alarm bells and causes you to feel unsafe in some cases. So that's why I use a number of tools for nervous system regulation. For example, EFT tapping and breath work and vagus nerve stimulation or meditation. These are all really excellent tools in order to help you with adopting this new identity, because sometimes it feels unsafe. It's this push and pull with your ego that's at play here. And each of these things addresses a different layer: your subconscious, your conscious, and your body. So a couple of exercises that you can try. First off, if you've got a goal, identify the identity of that person who has that goal, that thing that you want already. And be honest with yourself and determine whether there's anything about it that feels unsafe. So, for example, if you want to be a millionaire and that means that you would upgrade your house, how does that feel to be living in a new neighborhood? Is there something about it that makes you feel unsafe or uncomfortable in any way? So these are the things that you might want to journal about and figure out if that new identity is causing you any stress. If so, use these tools to let that stress go. Another exercise is to visualize that a scene yourself with that new identity. So weight loss, for example, you imagine yourself getting praise from friends and family for this new figure that you've got, and just replay it in a loop over and over again as you fall asleep. So this is a SATS exercise from Neville Goddard, and that stands for the state akin to sleep. And essentially, just in that period right before you fall asleep is where you want to loop this 5 to 7 second visualization of your friends and family congratulating you for your achievements. I did this several years ago when I manifested my car, and it was a pinch yourself moment. So I encourage you to try it and let me know how it goes. So thanks very much for watching today. Don't forget to leave me a like and subscribe, and stay tuned for our next video. Take care.